Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja. Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon series Rasputin and GENGHIS. And these are the frogs. This is the first 2-pack. I have the other 2-pack. I'll be doing them separately. I was going to do them all 4 at once, but I was going to confuse them too much. So I decided not to do that, because I don't know these characters at all. And I'm not going to call them by name anymore, probably either. But these are another foray into more obscure characters for NECA for this line. But I think a lot of people are into that sort of thing, so you might be interested. So let's go ahead and get these guys off the stand and take a closer look. These guys stand roughly 5 1/4 inches to the very top of their heads, and that makes them just about 13.5 centimeters. And they are the exact same figure. Now you're probably thinking they have different mouths, but they have alternate heads, so they each come with the same two heads. So they are the exact same as far as sculpt goes. It really just comes down to paint, so we're not going to keep them both on screen the whole time. You can see the differences. It's just color. There are no different details really, like the spots on the nose are it. Everything else is just a color swap, a palette swap of the same two figures. They both have the wristbands, they both have the same necklace, they are the same. The other set has a different necklace, but I believe even the wristbands are the same, so just so that you're aware, they are the exact same. So we're going to set that aside, and we're going to use this guy for the review. Now, before we get into the review though, let's do a question of the day. Are you familiar with these characters, and are you happy to have them in your collection? I don't remember them from the cartoon at all. So that's my answer. You guys can let me know in the comment section below how you feel about these guys. Cool addition, I suppose, but not something I'm even familiar with at this point. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic. The same review of the aesthetic applies to both, even though the colors are different, the quality is the same. And they did a good job. NECA did a good job again. The circles are nice and clean, the black outlines are good, the purple spots are filled in. The two-tone body, clothing, everything is all done really well. It's nice. I do think I think, if I can English, that the spots would be two-tone also, but they have the same purple all the way around, so yeah, I mean, that's not a big deal, obviously, but it's something that could have been done. But the eyes are clean, the necklaces are clean, the black lines everywhere are good enough. Like, it is what it's supposed to be. There's nothing else I can really say. Aesthetically speaking, NECA did a really good job. So aesthetics, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. There's not a whole lot they could have done to make them better, so that's pretty cool. Now, as far as accessories go, they have the same almost accessories. They do both get the same 2 heads. They come with different ones on in the package, but you get the same heads. You get a baby frog or a non-mutated frog for each of them also. They both come with gripping hands in the package, and for the light green, you get 2 fist hands and 2 pointing finger hands, and then for the darker green, you get 2 gripping hands and 2 peace sign or victory pose hands. You get 2 of the turtle type communicators. You get 1 of whatever this thing is. You get an axe. You get a bow with a real string, you get a quiver, you get 3 regular arrows, 1 bigger arrow, and then you get a disguise type of thing. So that's a pretty good spread of accessories. It's a good batch. It is strange to me that we only get fist hands for the one guy. That's a little bit of an irritant, but that's not that big of a deal considering the accessories. So I'm going to go 9 out of 10 for accessories. That's a bunch. That's a whole lot of accessories in the pack. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. They do share the same articulation. NECA did a good job with these. You would think that they wouldn't be able to rotate very well, but the way NECA put the pivot joint in, or the fulcrum, the pivot for the joint, they did a good job. They can look down, they can look up. Technically, they can lean, so that's pretty cool. And they can turn also. So for something with virtually 0 neck, as a frog might have, they did a really good job. I don't think they could have done much better. The t-shirt here, the outer part of the shirt, it's not a t-shirt. The outer part of the shirt is a softer material. It will move, it will accommodate the head a little bit, but you're probably going to want to be careful not to grind the head against it. Everything on these is painted, as is always the case for NECA. For the shoulders, we have our hinge, which goes out to the side, just about horizontal. I think that's pretty good. You do get your full rotation, though be careful, you don't want to grind the painted parts against each other for the shirt, so be aware of that. You do get a bicep swivel in here between the shirt and the arm. Some of these guys are stuck, some of them are not. This guy happens to be stuck, the other one happens to be stuck in this package. In the other package, they both were free, so a little hairdryer action will free that right up. Should be no big deal. But you do get that bicep swivel, and you get the single jointed elbow, which gives you just about 90 degrees, and I think that's all right. And you do get more rotation out of that as well if you need it, so that's good. And then for the wrists, you have a swivel and a hinge. The gripping hands do not have vertical hinges, they only have horizontal hinges. For the torso, we have what's either a double or a single ball peg. I can't say for sure. They're also fairly stiff, but you get decent range. If it wasn't for the shirt, he could go back a little bit farther, and he can lean forward about that far, which isn't a ton, but again, given the design, I think it's pretty good. And they lean to the side really well, so if you're going to do a little bit more of your dynamic posing, you can do that. You get your rotation, and you get a waist twist just at the top of the pants, so that's pretty good. Now here we have a serious problem. The hips, as you might be able to tell, have no cutout in the crotch for leg movement. So they go forward a little bit and out to the side a little bit, but not very far. They go back a little bit and they go out to the side pretty far, and that's okay, but going forward is definitely going to be hindered. If you wanted to trim part of this diaper away, that would help, but that is going to be a do-at-your-own-risk sort of thing. That may not be painted, so it doesn't look like this red is actually painted. So I was wrong a minute ago when I said everything's painted. It usually is, but this looks like it's not, and that will allow more flexibility, so that's a good thing. You can see you can get decent posing out of them, but not a ton, so be aware of that. This guy's hips aren't super loose, but they are fairly loose. Some of these frogs are very loose, so it's kind of going to be just kind of the production lottery for you, whether or not you get loose hips, so be aware of that. You do get a little bit of a thigh swivel in there, though not much, and I don't think there is any down here, especially once you look. There's really no place for there to be an extra joint here, so I think the socket actually pegs into the grain part, if I had to guess, and I can't free any of them up. They don't seem to be stuck, so I think you just don't get much thigh swivel. For the knees, as you might be able to tell, they work just fine. No issues at all. They're good looking knees, they function, no problems. And then for the ankles also, you get pretty decent range going down, and pretty decent range going forward, and the ankle rocker is very steep, but it's there. So articulation is definitely not the focal point here, but it's good enough. It's gonna get you through a decent pose for the shelf, and that's about it, which I think is what NECA's aiming for these cartoon Ninja Turtle figures, and I think that's fine. So I'm gonna give the articulation 7 out of 10. I'll go 7. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad, and it's good enough, and it looks good, so that's fine. So final verdict for this set. If you wanted it, I think you should get it. If you weren't interested in it, I don't think it's got enough going for it that you'll be won over, because it's very based on character recognition, I would say. They do look really nice, but that's their main selling point. So if you don't recognize the characters in the first place, you're not going to care, I think. So I'm going to give it an overall rating of 8 out of 10. It's a really good set, loads of accessories, a really nice aesthetic, and sufficient articulation for what I think they're aiming for. So I think it's a good set. I would recommend it, but probably only for those who were already in on the line anyway. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.